Today we're in conversation with the team of No Fathers in Kashmir, and thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to the Quint. Ashwin, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to dive straight into the main question that I have. The last few months have been difficult because of the battle with the censor board. What has it just been like? What have their objections been?
What are the objections of the censor board? Well, that's for the censor board. What are my objections to the censor board?
Yeah, we can talk about that
Yeah,
too.
I think they should be banned.
I heard you say that. I was actually just going to say that I read an interview today morning where I saw that quote.
I think the censor board is a redundant, archaic institution that has no place in the country that we live in, which is a free democracy. I'm making a movie about two millennials falling in love and having their first heartbreak. For God's sake, I can't see what the hell they have as a problem with this, other than the fact that it happens to be set in Kashmir. And the only other problem that I think they could possibly have with this is that they don't want certain truths about what is happening in Kashmir to be presented to millennials around the country. Now, if they're having a problem with that, then I have a problem with them. What does censorship do? It creates a sort of hate, hostility, and fear that we've been seeing in the last 2 months in our country. Because you don't give people the right amount of information, the only thing that they're hearing about Kashmiris are kids who are throwing stones at armed forces. And if that's the only context that they have, then that's what they're going to react to. That is the direct result of censorship. And nobody's asking the question, who are these kids? What happens when they try to go to school? Are they able to go to college? Are they able to study?
Right.
I mean, what homes do they live in? What happened to their fathers? Were they disappeared? Why were they disappeared? See, now that part of the narrative isn't being put across. What you see is a kid with a stone who's throwing the stone at the armed forces. And that's all that's being focused upon, you see. So this kind of thing is poisonous. It's poisonous for our democracy. It's poisonous for our kids. It's just poisonous generally overall. So truth is very important, and censorship is the reason why Kashmir boils the way it boils today.
Yeah, I mean, the larger debate is the fact that there should be certification and not censorship, right? I mean, if there's
In a day of YouTube, in the day and age that we have YouTube, I mean, what function is this censor board sitting on my film for 9 months? I mean, till today, till right now, just before your interview, I was on the phone with my lawyer to get the certificate out because it still hasn't been given to us, even though the order has come. Now, this is harassment. This has gone beyond the scissor. You know, it's even gone beyond whatever they think is going to be deemed useful, appropriate for kids and adults. This is just pure harassment. This is not necessary. I think it's inelegant, really.
But we're very happy the film is finally releasing. And Soni ma'am, what spoke to you about this film? Because you've been pushing for it on social media. What was it like shooting the film?
Shooting the film was fun. It was wonderful working. Firstly, I have to say that I really wanted to do this film because of the script. I thought it was a fabulous script, and I thought it would translate into a wonderful movie. And I was very keen to be a part of a film which put out the narrative of Kashmir the way we haven't seen it before, because I felt it was high time we saw that story, that side of Kashmir. And I totally agree with Ashwin when he says that, you know, the CBFC is redundant today in a day and age when, you know, everything's available to you at the touch of a press of a button. You can see anything. So, so what are we talking about? You know, I mean, and we also need to. I don't even know what they're so frightened about. Today, the time has come when we need to ask the question: why is a state of people who are so gentle, so well mannered, so beautiful in their souls? You know, what's gone wrong here and why? High time we ask the question, yeah. I mean, we deserve answers. Because I really don't think anything earth-shattering is going to happen when this film releases. So, you know, what is everybody so scared about? I don't really know. Apart from the fact that it's going to be a huge hit, of course.
Is it also because maybe it's raising uncomfortable questions about the army itself? Do you think so? You like to take that?
Well, I mean, the point is that we have talked about censorship all this moment, you know, and it's a film about kids. The problem is really the censor board couldn't find out what the hell it is that they found objectionable themselves. It went into a schizophrenic moment, you know, and I love it. You know, because I've had 2 of my movies banned, right? Right? So I was like, wait, this time round, I'm going to fox them. You know, I'm going to make a movie about a kid who's trying to look for her father. Now, come on, bring it on. Tell me, what are you going to find objectionable about this? You know, and they were like, whoa. Now what do we do with this? Okay, I'll tell you what, let's delay, let's push, let's make him wait. So when you ask me about, you know, what do they find objectionable? Really, there is nothing objectionable. No, I know.
Okay. But it's not, there's nothing.
I know it's a psychosis because the people from Censor Board are coming from the rest of the country only. Now, where are they coming from? They are not immaculately conceived.
Yeah.
You know, as much as they might like to feel that they are. Besides, come on, it's entertainment, guys. Don't get it so seriously. It's two kids are trying to have. They fall in love. They break each other's hearts. You know, go watch that movie.
Yeah.
You know, what is all this?
But coming back to making the film, Anshuman, I read a quote of yours today morning where you said that you actually stepped out of the set in your costume, and it was a bit eerie because people were giving you strange looks because you were in the garb of an army officer. Is that true? Is there something like that?
Yes, it is. I play an army major, and it happened in Bhadarwa when we were shooting, and I stepped out because sometimes lighting takes time, and our DOP said it'll take 2 hours, so I just stepped out, and I got the sharpest stares I have, and at first I didn't get it. I thought they're mistaking me for someone else because I didn't put the dots together. I seriously didn't. It was my first day on set, and then the line producer came running and said, "Please don't step out in your costume." I said, "Why?" So somebody might throw a stone. So you don't think like I'm in my country. I'm walking out in the Indian Army's costume. There's no reason for me to fear, right? So it hits you, right? Not just as an actor, it hits you as a person. Like the bigger problem with the censor thing is that we are the only nation, take Britain, that has a booming film industry, or the US. Film comes under arts and culture. We as a country have information and broadcasting. Food for thought, right there.
But I just have come back from Kashmir yesterday. I spent a couple of days there, and I saw something very interesting. So, of course, yes, there are more army or police standing around than there used to be, say, a year ago, for example. But what I found very interesting was in this standing on the streets, bichari, doing nothing with their guns. Then the locals are chatting with them. Aram se, they are sharing cigarettes. They're doing all kinds of chai, wai, pee rahe saath mein. So there's also that. So Kashmir is such a very fascinating place with all kinds of facets and shades. Yeah.
Here comes a film that shows you people normal, the way it's narrated by these two just now. And the Indian Censor Board is like playing spoiler in the middle of all this. You want to carry on Kashmiris, to carry on throwing stones at the armed forces, you carry on sending your soldiers over there to get killed and to get stoned at? Is this the way to solve the problem? Or is this the way to solve the problem?
What do you feel about sort of the depiction also of Kashmir in mainstream Bollywood? I mean, you've seen it for years. What has your sense of it been like?
There's always been a bigger picture. There's a action film centered around it, or there's a big love story centered around it. But it's centered around what? It's not centered around the actual issues that are happening in Kashmir. It's centered around some make-believe story. So we have these very plot-driven films which are all big and all fine, no problem at all. But I wouldn't say they're actually showing you Kashmir the way it is. And I wouldn't say they're going into small towns and showing real people's life. Very few. Some films do, but very few of them. So I think we need more such films because we need to start normalizing a discussion here. I mean, an atmosphere here. We need to start realizing because, as I said, I just again came back from Kashmir and everything seemed to be just fine. I mean, of course, it's not fine, but it seems to be fine. People are going about their lives. People are doing what they're doing in spite of the looming presence of an army, in spite of this, in spite of that. People want to live. They want to have lives. They want to go to the cinema theatre. They want to have a good job. They want to be able to play cricket and football. They want to do extracurricular activities. No, really, it's serious. They want, guys in Kashmir don't have an outlet, which is one of the bigger problems there. They just don't have a life. And if you give them that, this will go. Trust me.
I hope people watch this in the theatre, and all the very best for the film. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.